ready for this one?
I can't wait. It's probably a doozy.
Damn lies 3. Psychedelics cause irreparable psychological damage. I would suggest that not only does it not cause damage, but according to studies, psilocybin increases connectivity between different regions of the brain that don't typically communicate. This can break down traditional neural pathways and create new connections, fostering novel ways of thinking and perceiving the world. Brian, can you pull up the first image? The left is a depiction of the way the brain normally operates. The right is on psilocybin, where you have quarters. So, you know, that thing, everybody's like, oh, you only use 10% of your brain. I think that's been proven not to be true. But in this case, what the brain does do, because it's lazy, like all of our organs, is it forms habits. And those habits are energy saving and they're great. But what you do is you end up missing a lot of things. Because you think in what's called default mode network.
The default mode network, correct.
And if you're always in the default mode network, then look at the way your brain operates. Whereas on the right, once you do psilocybin, they say it's like a childlike wonder. It's because you see the world anew. Different regions of the brain, they're talking to region of the brain they don't normally. So then all of a sudden wind is meaningful or a conversation is very interesting. It's like, I think I read this too, that they've done brain scans of toddlers' brains and brain scans of people on psychedelics, and they look very similar.
They look very similar. And I love this graphic that you're using, Eric, because it's from the Beckley Institute. And there's this analogy of psychedelics where, you know, the image on the left-hand side, which is your usual brain, your default mode network brain, it's you're skiing down these slopes. The analogy is you're continuously skiing down these slopes that are your traits, your habits, the thing you've been programmed, and that's just constantly where you are. And then when psychedelics are introduced, it's almost like they lay down this new sheet of snow, and you have all these other paths you can go down, and you can open up all these other doors to creativity and empathy and authenticity that you just usually skate right by or ski right by because you're in these default mode networks. So I love that graphic that you have there.
Yeah. You know what they said too? Another study said that if you look at people's brain patterns when they're not on psilocybin, they look very different from each other. But once somebody does psilocybin, they start, so the neural fingerprint without it looks very different. The neural fingerprint on psilocybin looks similar. It would be great because empathy, sympathy, things that would make us better humans, if our brain fingerprints started to look more similar and we saw the world in a more empathetic and sympathetic light. And that's...
It's so true. It's so true because I think even that lie, if it was just change, if one or two words today, it's all about words. If it was psychedelic causes irreparable awakening in the brain, that is not a lie. Because anybody that's had a psychedelic experience, a true one, with the correct setting, with the correct, reasons why, intentions why you're doing this, you know that what has happened, that awakening, what you have seen, is
and it doesn't take much. Brian, can you pull up the second picture real quick? So a single magic mushroom experience can desynchronize your brain for up to 3 weeks, which sounds scary, but it's not. It's all positive. And let me tell you this about what these are people who famously, well, in this case, it was LSD, but Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Aldous Huxley, Francis Crick, the Nobel Prize winning co-discoverer of the DNA double helix, said that LSD was a huge part of that discovery. You have the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, Ken Kesey. I mean, so many artists have used these things.
I know a guy that wrote a book on LSD.
There you go. So when you're faced with this information, how you still go, yeah, but it's scary. Isn't it scary? I just don't. I'd rather have 18 Trulies. I want some mango passion fruit Trulies. Strange.
No.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is very strange. It is very strange that that's the way we look at things. But again, look, little by little, people are awakening. There's more. I think the fact that there's more research, Eric. I think the fact that, look, it's the same thing that I keep harping to. This is not the psychedelics of the 60s. This is the psychedelics of Johns Hopkins University. This is the psychedelics of NYU. This is the psychedelics of Berkeley. This is the psychedelics of Stanford University. This is the psychedelics of many big-time institutions really doing studies and figuring out how they can use these substances to help people get over trauma, anxiety, so many other things, So it's not the psychedelics of the 60s. Let's go blast off in the woods, and not that there's anything wrong with that.
I was going to say, let's
Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that.
Let's not badmouth blasting off in the woods.
No,